Internet, it's Fawna, and I'm here to talk today about my December to be read list. It's huge, like, let's just get a little... Oh, so many books. Now, my to be read pile is so huge because I'm trying to finish my 50 books challenge for Goodreads. I only have 7 books left to read. I'm so close, but the ones that I want to read to finish the challenge are library books, and they're due on the 12th, so I can't go the last half of the month without reading anything. So I decided that I would add more books to the list, and now it's just huge. It's huge. You don't even understand. It's huge. So we're going to go ahead and get into the books now because this is going to take forever, and I'm fighting the dying sunlight because it is like 3 p.m. and it gets dark so early these days. Okay, so first book on my list from the library, as I mentioned, I've already finished it, and it is The Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han. I really loved To All the Boys I've Loved Before, and I really wanted to read her other books, and well, I'll talk about this in my wrap-up, but basically it's about a girl named Belly who goes to a summer house with her family every summer, and she is obsessed. I wouldn't say obsessed. She's in love with one of the boys of her mother's best friend. It's complicated and you get into it, but it's just basically about a summer of her finding out where she belongs with these boys in her life, and it was a cute read. I'll say that now. I'll save the rest for my December wrap-up. The next book on my list is The Virgin Suicides by Jeffrey Eugenides, and I have to be honest, I'm a little scared to read this one because I'm sensitive, but I know that it's going to be amazing because I love the movie. So yeah, I've already read maybe about 74 pages of it. I started it before I read The Summer I Turned Pretty. I'm still scared to read it. But basically, if you don't know, The Virgin Suicides is about a family of girls they're the Lisbon sisters, and they all start committing suicide. And the way I understand it, the book is more about the boys who are watching the girls, which is kind of a little creepy, but I know that a lot of people like Sana of Books and Quills loves this book, so I'm going to give it a shot. Like I said, I love the movie. So far, the movie is really different from the book, but we're going to give it a shot. The next book on my list is Across the Universe by Beth Revis. I have wanted to read this series for a long time. A lot of people on BookTube were talking about it. I know that it's set in space, which is not usually my thing, even though I love Star Trek The Next Generation. But it's about a girl named, let me see, Amy. Her name is Amy, and she is on a spaceship, and she's cryogenically frozen, and I believe she gets woken up early, and that is the point of the book. And I actually don't really know much about this series. I just know that people love it. So I'm going to give it a shot. The next book on the list is After Alice by Gregory Maguire. I love Alice in Wonderland. I love the story. And I recently read Egg and Spoon by Gregory Maguire, and it was so good. Although I'm kind of obsessed with Russia, imperialist Russia. It's a whole thing, but I love that book. And I really want to see his take on Alice in Wonderland. I've wanted to read this for a long time, and so the book is about what happened in England while Alice was gone. So it's about her friend Ada, who falls down the rabbit hole herself, and the way I understand it, you get a lot more twists and turns in the darker side of Wonderland. So I really think that this will be great. Again, I loved Egg and Spoon. He uncovered the dark twists and turns of Russian folktales in that one, so this one should be really amazing. The next book on my list is Dear Mr. You by Mary Louise Parker. Sorry for the library's stickers on the cover right now. It's the Library Reads November 2015 book. So basically it's a collection of letters that Mary Louise Parker of Weeds fame, or she's been in a million things, but you might know her best from Weeds. She wrote a collection of letters to the men in her life, and I really think that this will be interesting to read. I love books about letters, and I love letters. If you want to write me letters, let me know. But I just think that it's a good idea for a book, especially with someone who is so in the public eye, just writing letters to people who have affected her, especially males, and it's sort of a feminist slant, I think would be good. So I'm really excited to read this one. I kind of want to read it next, but I have to pace myself. I have to finish The Virgin Suicides. The next book on my list is All the Bright Places by Jennifer Nevin. This book just won the best young adult book on Goodreads. I'm really excited to read it. I keep saying that about everything, but I love reading. The premise of the book is that a boy named Finch, or Theodore Finch, is obsessed with death, and then he meets a girl named, oh, I just forgot her name, Violet, of course. He meets a girl named Violet who is trying to just count down the days until graduation, until she can leave her Indiana hometown after her sister's death, and they meet, and they get put together on an assignment. I think that it sounds really cute, and I think that the story will be more than just like a cute love story. I'm hoping, not that I have anything against cute love stories. I mean, I have almost every single Sarah Dessen book. I love them. But I think that it'll go in a different place with the obsession with death and her sister having just died. That's what we can hope. We hope it's not just fluffy and terrible. The next book on my list is Nick's X-23 from the Marvel Universe. It was created by Craig Kyle. The next part of it is written by Joe Quesada, who you might recognize from the credits of Jessica Jones, which we'll talk about that one day because I'm loving it. And it basically follows X-23, who was an experiment, and she sort of she was bred to be a warrior. You know, Bucky Barnes, bred to be a warrior type thing. And she was an experiment, and she has a lot of the same abilities as Wolverine. I actually don't know a lot about X-23. She was featured in a Black Widow book issue this past year, and I just think she sounds like a really interesting character, and I can't wait to read this. I read online that the artwork isn't that great. I flipped through it. It just looks really pulpy, which I'm okay with. Hey, it's a comic book. I love it. So, those are all of my library books. And the rest of the books those library books are due on December 12th. So after that, I needed something else to read. And that really only takes me to 49 books out of my 50 books. So, the next book I am reading is Gloria Steinem, My Life on the Road. I actually won this on a Goodreads giveaway, and it's basically about Gloria Steinem talking about being on the road with her father and how that experience shaped her. I love road trip novels. Jack Kerouac's On the Road is one of my favorite novels. I just really love the act of going out on the road and just going somewhere and learning things about yourself, and it's made even better by the fact that this is a nonfiction book. So, I love Gloria Steinem. It's going to be good. I can't wait to read it. I'll talk about it in my December wrap-up. After that, I'm going to need to read something that I've already read and that I can sort of decompress after reading so many books in the beginning of the month even. So I'm going to re-pick up Attachments by Rowell. I love this book. I just needed something light to get me through the rest of the month. I love reading, so I don't want to stop after I hit my challenge goal. So, Attachments, I haven't read it since 2013. I got it for Christmas that year, so I am excited. If you didn't know, Attachments is about Lincoln O'Neill, who is hired by a company in the early 2000s, around Y2K, to read the emails of the employees, and he doesn't really like that job because he feels like he is intruding on the lives of other people. But he begins to read conversations between a girl named Beth and a girl named Jennifer, and he sort of starts falling in love with Beth, and he's also dealing with a breakup of a long-term relationship, and he keeps notebooks, and it's a really good book, and I highly recommend it to everyone. I highly recommend everything by Rowell to everyone, but I feel like this was an amazing debut novel for her, so I think that everyone should read it, and especially if you like sort of novels about adults, let's be honest. So, my last book for the month, and we'll see if I get to it, it's my hope that I will, is The Dharma Bums by Jack Kerouac. I was just talking about Jack Kerouac. I love Jack Kerouac. I love Allen Ginsberg. I have a bunch of Ginsberg poetry over here. I love the Beat Movement. I can't help it. So, my one of my best friends is actually reading this book this month too. It wasn't planned that way. I was putting together this video and she posted an Instagram of this book saying she was going to read it. That's just the kind of people we are. So, the Dharma Bums, just like On the Road, it's about his friends with different names. Jack Kerouac's character is called Jaffe Ryder. This one is set in San Francisco, and he goes on a Buddhist self-discovery, and he meets a writer named Ray Smith, and they climb mountains. I've actually read half of this book, and I had to put it down. It was when I was in school a couple years ago, and I had to put it down because the only time I had to read it was on the bus, and people kept talking to me. Don't do that. If you see someone on the bus reading a book, don't talk to them. But, okay, so I've read half the book so far. I really enjoyed it. It's not a thick book. It won't take me long, but I'm excited to finish it, and I'm excited. I have other Jack Kerouac books to read, so. And that's it. That is my December TBR. It's huge, and it's gonna take me forever, but I'm hoping that I'll get through it and it'll be a good December wrap-up. And I have a lot of videos in store for you people. Probably going to be talking about Allen Ginsberg in some of them. I can't help it. I love him. And now, with the dying of the light, I have to go. So, I'll see you guys next time, and bye! It's set in space, which is not usually my thing, even though I love Star Trek, The Next Generation, Will Crusher. Yeah. The next book on my list is Wesley Crusher. Wow, Wesley Crusher. Okay.